Today we got the Gripzilla Arm Wrestling Essentials Kit, brought to you by Gripzilla, and it comes with pretty much everything you need to get started. It comes with a 30mm handle. We're going to explain how these handles are beneficial at each size. So we got the 30, we have a 60mm, we have a cone that's 30 on one end and 60 on the other. Then we have the egg, and that is 30 right here and 60 in the center. And we also have this L-shaped block, and we're going to go over what this does as well. And also you get the Gripzilla handle, and this will put your grips on it. It's pretty easy to operate. You'll just unscrew that, and you'll pick your handle. And we're going to start out with the 30mm one. And you don't have to have an arm wrestling table to do this. This is just what I have handy, but you can do this with bands. You can do this at the gym with a pulley machine. It's probably the best if you did have a pulley machine. And we're going to slide our piece on there. And then you can just put the screw in, lock it on. But if you notice, we have holes up here, and each one of these holes will hit a different spot in your hand. So like right here, if I'm pulling on this, and if I put it right here, I'm going to need more strength to pull it back on this end, where it's not going to be as heavy right here. Same way with this way. It's going to be harder to do here than it is here. If you want to work something different, like you want to work more of your front fingers than your smaller, like pinky and ring finger. And it's pretty simple to operate. What you would do is you would just, you can start with the center if you'd like, and it's just a clip on. And just that simple. You don't have to have an arm wrestling table with a pulley system. Like I said, this is easily done at the gym with a pulley machine. And there's many ways to go about this. You can just do the wrist curls, but you're more about arm wrestling. So this will teach you a more arm wrestling related grip because it's smaller. And what I'll do is I will show you what I mean. So with a smaller handle, you're going to be able to do like your normal grip. You can start out with like the wrist curls or whatever, but that's not going to be more beneficial as like a containment will be for arm wrestling. And this 30mm grip that'll slide onto your handle is about the size of a thumb that you would be working with when you're arm wrestling against someone. So this is going to give you more of a natural grip when you're working. And like I said, you don't need to be on an arm wrestling table. You can do it from a cable machine as well. You can work just your drag in, so it's more natural. You can keep your hand like that to work on the containment. You can also work on a false grip, and that's more of a drag. You can work on your drag that way because arm wrestling, the closer you can get the person to you, the better. And if you have an arm wrestling table, you can also work on that as well. You can work on side pressure work. But if you want to work more on getting your pinky, you just switch it down to one of the other holes. And now I can just, even with a light weight on it, I can really tell that I need to use more pressure on these fingers than I do over here. And if you look, you can see how my hand was initially straight, but now all the pressure is on these two fingers. And this is going to be your weak point in arm wrestling. It's going to more likely going to be your pinky and ring finger. So this is really going to target what you want. And each hole hits a slightly different degree of the hand. So from here on out, we're probably just going to keep it on the center because you have the general concept of what's going on. So it's very simple. Once again, to change that, you just unscrew the end. Slides out, and you slide on your new handle. Screw it on. And if you take a closer look, you can see that this actually isn't just a hollow piece of plastic. This is actually, that's aluminum with bearings. So you're going to get smooth movement through your whole cycle of exercises. So this bigger handle on, clipped on, you're going to be able to work more like this, because this is going to give you more wrist curl. Yes, that'll help you in arm wrestling a little bit, but this is going to be more of what you're doing on the table. You can start off with the curls to get warmed up, but you want to keep that position. You can do it on the table. So now it's a rolling handle, so it wants to roll out of your hands. So you don't have to have it on the table, you can have it up. And you can work on getting your cup. Because cup is probably one of the most important things in arm wrestling. If you lose your wrist, you might lose the match unless you're a pretty proficient flop presser. But with a table, we can work on it like this. But once you're in this position, it wants to roll out of your hand. So that's going to keep your fingers strong. You can also just work on your fingers. Let it roll out and close it. You want to be able to have that containment in arm wrestling. Once again, very easy to switch out. This is a 30-60-30 egg. And I've never used a handle like this before I got this one. Like my first use out of it, I could really feel how much more this feels like a hand than any other of the handles I've ever used. And I can feel more tension right here in the hand than I can on these two fingers, which makes it feel like I'm in a stressful grip up at the start of an arm wrestling match. So just me coming in just like that, I can really feel the fatigue on the back of my hand from almost like battling for position. And I've only had this in my hand for say 10 seconds. But you can continue your arm wrestling movements. You can work on the side pressure. You can work on the drag. You can work on the wrist curls. But you're probably going to feel the most right here. Right in those areas on the hand. It works your hand, we'll just say. It's going to put some fatigue in your hand, which you need. You don't want to lose what you gained in the setup because your hand got too fatigued. Because most of the matches are won in the grip up. We're going to switch over to the 30-60 cone. This is a little bit of a different handle because it's not straight across. So it's going to make you work in different positions. So this is going to hit almost like when you're adjusting these. I have to put more pressure on the different parts of my hand to get the same movement. So with this cone setup, these fingers don't have to work as hard because these are getting hit first. And if I really wanted to take it up a notch, I can set it up on the end hole, which is really going to blast into your fingers. So now, even though I have the same amount of weight in there, I really have to work hard on these two fingers and concentrate on those just to do the same exercises. Like just switching it over from a lat drag to trying to work on side pressure, it feels like somebody added 25 more pounds to your lift because it's hard to control because you're targeting that part of your hand. You can see that this hand is opening up in that position. And it also works the same for the opposite direction. You can either take it off and flip it, or you can just switch it over to like this. And now these fingers are going to work harder than these ones. This is probably one of my favorite handles. You got 3 different positions for different amount of tension. So we're going to put it in this end. That's going to be like the hardest amount of tension. Same thing, we just screw that back in. So we're going to show you what I used to work with before I got this. So this is what I used to use, just a 2x4 with another 2x2 on the end of it, glue it on there with a clip. And I would put that on there, and I would be able to work my hand, but it only let me work on keeping a containment, but it didn't work the rest of my hand. It kind of really limited on what I could do. So where this L-shaped handle came in, it takes it way past just this traditional wooden block. So now this is going to let me get locked in. That just slides up your hand. And now just like you're getting strapped in, you would just tighten that down just a little bit. And now I don't have to hold on. Like, it is on my hand. Like, even if I come back to that point, I am still there. So now that we're all locked in, I can put my thumb down here, but I choose to keep it more like a traditional arm wrestling grip. So it's different between this one and this one is I am locked in this one where I have to hold on to this one and keep a tight grip on it, but I don't want to be a crushing grip during arm wrestling. Where here I don't have to hold on. I can just use my hands and work on just the containment that I'm trying to work on to stop a top roller. Where, like I said, here I have to hold on. But it's going to work more of my thumb than it actually was working on the containment of my fingers. And here you can work on that by just holding. You can work on the containment drag. You can also have it in the table. You can also have it, you don't even have to have it on an arm wrestling table. This can just be standing up on the cable machine working on that wrist. Because if they can't open your hand, that's going to make it harder for them to win your match. So say I'm trying to really get that last burn. Like, I want to get everything I got out of my fingers and wrist. So now just say my wrist fails. I am still locked in there. There's nothing to worry about. I don't have to worry about the weight slamming down or anything. I'm still locked in. And then you're locked in like that, and it's just really simple to get out. You just flick that, and you're free. And like I was showing you, it's pretty simple to put on. I had to adjust mine a little bit because I got a little bit of a bigger hand. But your hands just slide in like so, and just a quick snap down and you're locked in, ready to go. So this is more of a natural containment. So like say your opponent is a top roller, it's going to keep your fingers closed so they can't break through. So what they're doing when they're top rolling you, they're opening your hand up, and that's going to be more leverage that's going to favor them. Or if they can't get through your hand, it's going to make that a whole lot harder for them. And even though this goes across your whole hand and you're locked in, when you slip it over to that hole to make it hit other parts of your hand, like right where it is, I can still really feel the tension on the pinky and the ring finger. And I really have to work just almost like it's targeting just that spot. So it's really going to bring your fingers to the next level. So this has been the Gripzilla Arm Wrestling Essentials Kit that you can get on gripzilla.co. We didn't go over very many exercises today, but this is just to get you started. It's probably going to let you implement these handles into your current workout. We'll be having Arm Wrestling Pacific workout with these coming very soon. I'll see you guys next time.